Hi there, from the StreetStrider workshop. Today I'm going to show you how to unpack and assemble our brand new StreetStrider Eclipse. This is our first chainless StreetStrider. No chain at all. It's a beautiful new hub system, works like a charm. And it's real simple to assemble because there's only two parts you have to put together and then just unfold it. So come on over here and let's take a look in the box and I'll show you how it's packed. You'll need a stout pair of scissors. This is how it's packed. This is the front beam and the two front wheels. We'll attach the front wheels and we'll attach the steering rods. But the first thing I'm going to do is just clip this off here and here. And I'm going to lift this out. And this piece of cardboard, I'm going to set it down on the ground, just like that. And now I'm going to lift this piece out and set it on top. I set this right on top. I'll take everything off and then we'll just put it on the front end. Okay, I'm going to take all the packing off of this. And what you'll notice is you also have a bottle cage that will go on and a toolkit, and we'll get to this as we get closer to assembly. Okay, now we're ready to take this front end and we're going to put it right on here. First thing we're going to do is turn this around so StreetStrider's facing out. Okay, and we're going to take out some tools. Okay, in our toolkit we have a couple of different tools. We have an Allen wrench, an 8mm Allen wrench, which we're going to need. We have some other Allen wrenches for adjusting a few other things, and a couple of open-end wrenches, but we'll get to those in just a minute. First thing we want to do is put the Allen wrench, or use the front end here and the Allen wrench to screw this screw in and hold this whole front end on. Okay? So, we're going to look at this StreetStrider, pull off this covering right here, and we have now a bearing system. We have a back plate that goes on. We have a rear bearing, a tapered roller bearing, and that slides on like that. We have a front roller bearing and a screw here. The 8mm goes in there. We're going to lay this front end up on there like this. Put the bearing system on like that, and then screw this in. We'll take our 8mm X wrench, screw this in like this. And tighten that up nice and snug. This rotates back and forth. Now we're going to take this inboard rod end here off this side, take the nut off. We're going to place the nut behind this little hole right here with your finger like this. Move this around and then screw this in. Start it with your fingers to get the rod end started. Same thing with the other side. The nut comes off. This moves around in here like that. Put the nut behind this hole. Bring the rod end over like this and start it screwing in with your fingers. All right, now we'll take out a wrench here that has a 10mm end on it, 10, and finish screwing these in. One side in. Okay. All right, both rod ends are tight. All right. This is our quick release joint here. And what I want to point out also is that right under the quick release joint is your serial number. That's where it's stamped on the head tube. Okay, we're going to put the quick release joint down this way. All right, and we're going to use a 4mm wrench to unscrew these bottle bosses right here. And put our water bottle cage on. There's a little washer that goes along with these. That one goes in there. This one goes in here. I'm going to line these up this way. Start this one up here. Okay, water bottle is attached. I'm going to grab this here, open these up a little bit so I can rotate the arm levers out. This. We'll reset those in just a minute. And now with the arm levers separated from the rear frame and the fender, I'm going to lift this piece up here like this. Slide this over there. Make sure that this goes all the way through. That has to come in and out. I'll show you again. It goes back and forth this way. So it centers this like that. And then this comes straight up like this. So it's facing like that, and then pull this down to lock that on. All right. So our head tube is up and secured. Our front beam is on. The only thing we have left to do now is to put in our joint here. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this down onto the ground. And this is a rather important point. Take these off so we can see the side. This telescoping ski allows us to put these two joint number 2s in exactly the same location on both sides, which enables this to fold down. In order to do that, this crank here on the right side has to be facing far backward. All right, now underneath here, there's a button right there. That button has to be pushed in, and then you can slide this back together again. I'm going to open this up like that. I'm going to push that button in like this, and then I'm going to slide that in all the way to where the button now comes out right back there. Locks it into this position, and to secure that, I'm going to put the quick release back up again. That's how you bring it back together so you can ride it. Now it's safe to stand on this and propel your StreetStrider down the road. Have some fun on it. But when this is unlocked, and this, pushing that button underneath there, is stretched forward, you cannot stand on this platform. You will bend this tube and damage your unit, and it won't slide any further. So while it's out like this, this is only for folding it, not for riding on it. If you bend this tube, you'll have to buy a new tube. All right? And then you can lock this way to help it secure there when it's folded down. But to ride it, we're going to put this down, push this button underneath, slide this all the way in, and then clamp that back up. Now you can stand on it. All right? That's all there is to setting this StreetStrider up to get ready to ride. The other thing we're going to do in terms of the lower frame, the other thing we're going to do is now adjust the Strider poles up top to make sure that they're set right for the person riding it. What you'll notice on these Strider poles is you have etched in there 8 inches, 8 indicator inches. Okay, you can go from 1 all the way to 8, down in or out of. All right, I'm going to loosen this. And before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this Strider crank back so that these two joints are in the same place. That puts the Strider poles right next to each other. I'm going to loosen this one. I'm going to slide it in. Let's go into, say, position number 4. That puts it in about the middle. Okay, and I'm going to turn this to have a particular angle here, and I'm going to mirror that on this one over on this side. So I'm going to loosen this up. I'm going to go to position 4, which is where we're at right now. I'm going to line these two up this way so that they look the same width back, and then I'm going to clamp them off. First this one, then this one. Okay, now these are set to be mirror images of each other. The last thing we have to do is rotate the brake lever. That was rotated to this position during transit, during shipping. We take a 5mm wrench in your toolkit and we loosen up this, loosen that screw, rotate this around to a position that's comfortable for your hand, then tighten that screw back up. This has a parking brake pin in it, and if I pull this brake lever in, that pin pops out, and that allows this to now roll. If I want to set the brake pin, I push this in, push it like that, and now it won't go anywhere. All right. Now you have a couple other tools here and here. These are two 14mm wrenches right there, and a 12. And what these are for, these 14mm wrenches go on here. All right. If this front end needed to be aligned, you would unscrew these, turn these two steering rods to bring the tires parallel, which means the distance from here to here is exactly the same as from here to here. You can check that with a ruler, but this has all been set at the factory. It should not have to be changed, but it's a good idea to take a tape measure and just check it. If it needs to have any adjustment, you would loosen these two nuts here, rotate this. This is a left-handed thread, this is a right-handed thread, and it will pull this wheel in, pull that wheel in, or put them out, push them out, okay? And that gives you alignment so that these two tires are absolutely parallel. This was all set at the factory. It should be good. But if you need to check that, that's what you would do. Is if you need to adjust that, that's what you do, is adjust these here. And then once you're finished getting the tires aligned, then you hold one of these like this, and you tighten the nut against it so it doesn't move. All right. The other thing that was adjusted at the factory was how far this would lean over. Okay, and the lean over is a stop right here. Okay, so when this leans over, that comes to a point where it stops this from leaning any further. And what that does is ensures over here that this clears the tire. We set this at the factory so that that clears the tire by about 1 inch. Okay, there's plenty of room there so the tire doesn't touch this. This one over here, on this side, when it comes and touches there, it sets it on this side so that you can see That also clears it by about 1 inch. Okay? So that's it. Your whole machine is up, ready to ride. This was all set at the factory. It should stay that way. The only thing you have to attach when you assemble it is the main pivot bearing right here and these 2 rod ends, and then you unfold it, adjust these, and put your brake lever in front where it has to be. Okay? Other than that, it's ready to go. Now let me real quickly show you how to fold it down. Once again, rotate this crank around until it's in the 9 o'clock position. Open your quick release here. Find the button underneath here, right about the middle of your platform, to push up and release the inner telescoping tube. I like to push on this with my thumb right here to get it started. It'll come out and snap into a position where the button is now right there pushing out. Lock that down. Lift up your quick release here. Ease that forward. Let this post come out of that side by moving it to the left. And then this rotates downward. All right. Now, we also have in this package a little strap, your StreetStrider strap, and what that allows you to do is to put it through here. Actually, yeah, I think it goes this way. And keep these, everything nice and tight, like that. Put this under there, and then that stays nice and tight, and you can pick this up, move it around where you want to move it, set it down, put it in your car. You can hang it on a wall. If you lock this front brake, you can stand it up against the wall to keep it out of the way. And then when you want to go for a ride, simply take off the strap, lift up your front end, put your quick release on, clamp that down, open your quick release here, push the button in, slide this back, tighten it, and you're ready to ride. It's that simple.